Welcome back to another episode of the Constructive Liberty Podcast. Strategies, tech, tools, and mindset to help you create a life and career you love. Today is Wednesday, January the 11th, 2023, and this is episode number 136, and I'm your host, Ken Esch, in case you didn't know that already. I don't have a long episode for you today. I'm going to be quick, to the point, get in, get out. You can move on with your week. It's going to be a sweet episode, though. We're talking a bit about habits. Now, habits are one of those things that you don't really feel them until they're too strong to break. You know what I mean? Like, you don't feel the chains of habit until they're too strong for you to escape from. And that's often the way we feel when we have bad habits. Like, we can't get out of them. They're so difficult to overcome. But good habits can be the driver. They're the engine for incredible success. And I want to share with you a bunch of things that I highlighted in Atomic Habits, which is a book that I'm going through in my book club membership, Level Up. And I'm going to share with you some of the things that we've talked about, some of the things that stood out to me. But before I get into that, here's a quote of the day from Will Durant. He said, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit." Habit is something that you do over and over and over again. Like, it's something that comes natural because you have ingrained it into your everyday actions. It's things that you do over and over. For me, it's a habit to get out of bed at 4:30 and make myself a cup of coffee and to drink that coffee while I'm reading and praying. That is a habit. It's something that I don't like it if I can't do it. It's something that is ingrained in my daily life. It is habit. It's a daily action that is always done. It's always repeated. And I just do it because that time arrived. So, yeah, we'll get into habits a little more after that. The product of the day that I want to share with you today is something that I've been working on. And I think last week I shared a little bit about Level Up. I'm not pushing Level Up, which is my book club membership. That one there will not stick around for the long term, I don't think. I have actually iterated on that, and I'm creating a mastermind for solo entrepreneur men in their 30s, and I'm calling this Next Level. Now, the book club thing is still going to be an element of this mastermind, of this membership, but this is going to be a year-long membership and is specifically for entrepreneurial men, especially in their 30s, because, hey, that's me. I'm a solo entrepreneur dude in his 30s, and I love studying. I love growing. I love getting to the next level. So that's where I got the idea to call it. You know, not very creative, I know, but Next Level. So I'm going to drop a link in the show notes where you can go read a little bit more about that. If you are somebody, even if you're in your 20s, you're in your 40s, you know, whatever, you can still benefit from this, but it's going to be the best community for solo entrepreneurs on the internet. You can get in on the ground floor if you're interested. If you're not interested, just want to know more about it, go check out the link. Send it to somebody who may be interested, who is like, you know, I really want to have a community of guys around me that is always pushing me to the next level of growth. You know, send it to somebody. Share it with a friend. A couple things that have happened over the past few weeks. Just before Christmas, I fell and seriously bruised my ribs, and that was not a lot of fun. I slipped on the tailgate of my truck, fell off of the truck, landed on the crossbar of the trailer, bruised my ribs. Fortunately, nothing was broken, but it has caused me a lot of pain. And on top of that, when I was in South Carolina last week, I came home sick. I was out sick all last week, so I was not able to start the year off like I had hoped. The year started off really on a downer because I didn't get anything done that first week. I was too sick to go to work and too sick to do anything at home, even though it was a fan-freaking-tastic week to be able to do things. I just couldn't do them because, well, I was sick. But now I'm pretty much on the mend. I'm feeling a whole lot better. Yesterday I thought I was like 99%. This morning I woke up and I'm backed off again, so I'm probably about 75%. Still feeling the effects of it a little bit, but doing pretty good overall. The other thing I wanted to share with you, and this is so much fun. You guys know that I'm a huge Georgia Bulldogs football fan. Huge, like massive. I love watching their games, love following them. I don't nearly watch all the games. I mean, it's not like I have to do this or my life ends, but it's a lot of fun for me. It's one of the fun things in my life. And I've been talking about making life fun again, so watching college football is one of the things I do for that. The college football season is over now as of Monday night. The Georgia Bulldogs are national champions for the second year in a row. But that game was really a snoozer. It was the Georgia Bulldogs versus the TCU Horned Frogs. And let's just say that what happened during that game could be considered criminal. The Bulldogs beat the TCU Horned Frogs 65-7. Yeah, you heard that right. 65-7. It was ugly. But, if you're a Bulldogs fan, it was a lot of fun to see them come out on top. There's some really great stories around their program. If you're a football fan, go look it up. You'll come across things about Stetson Bennett. He's got a really cool story. I don't want to get into that today, but I just thought I'd share that with you a little bit. So let's get into the what I've come up with on habits. And what I've been doing is reading and listening to the book by James Clear called Atomic Habits. And so I'm going to share with you a few things that I've highlighted from that book just through chapter 2. So chapters 1 and 2. Chapter 1 is all about the aggregation of marginal gains, which is what he calls habits. It's the aggregation of marginal gains, the margins of improvement, tiny margins of improvement in everything you do. He talks about the 1% effect, where if you can improve yourself 1% every single day, that is 37 times improvement over the course of a year. 37 times on 1% a day. That is some incredible compounding interest on 1% improvement. He says that habits are the compounding interest of self-improvement. Success is a product of daily habits, not once-in-a-lifetime transformations. So often when we look at people that have made it, like we think that they have achieved the pinnacle of success. We're like, wow, what did you do to get there? And it's not a huge thing that they did. It's all the little things, the small improvements, the consistent actions or habits over time. They compounded to create that massive success. Your outcomes are a lagging measure or a lagging indicator of your habits. The things that you do over and over and over again. Like he says in the book, if you take an ice cube and you set it on the table and it is, the room temperature is 25 degrees. Okay. The ice cube will stay frozen. As you heat the room up, 26, 27, 28, 29, even 30 degrees, that ice cube is still frozen. 31 degrees, 32. What happens when the temperature goes from 32 to 33? 33 is above freezing. So things that are frozen begin to melt. So it's not like all of that heating up the temperature from 25 to 32 was wasted. That energy was being stored so that when the temperature went 33 degrees, the ice melted. That's how habits are. Your habits are a lagging indicator or a lagging measure. Your outcomes are a lagging measure of your habits. He also talks about the story of bamboo. There's a kind of bamboo that for 5 years after it sprouts, it does not show its face above ground. Spends 5 years underground building its root system. And then in the 5th year, within 6 weeks, it's 90 feet tall. So your work isn't being wasted. It's just being stored for that moment. So keep after the things. Keep doing the things you know you need to be doing. The seed of every habit is a single tiny decision. And to decide means to cut off all other options. So when you go to create a habit, you need to know what this habit is building towards, and then make that decision that this is what happens. Cut off all other options. He goes a lot more into that. If you have Audible subscription, I would highly recommend you go listen to it or go read the book. You want to read it, but he's got a lot of good stuff in here. I'm just hitting some of the highlights. A goal by itself, he says, won't get you the results. The habits are what help you achieve the goal. I talk so much about setting goals. Setting goals, you got to get goals. I did a whole, like a 45-minute masterclass on goal setting here recently. And I released the audio as a podcast a couple of weeks back. But goals by themselves don't get you the result you want. You have to actually break them down into actionable steps. You have to do the work that it takes. And if you can build habits out of that work, then you are a lot more likely to achieve the result or achieve the goal. Now, a goal in itself is not the end game. Or the goal in itself is not the only thing that you're after. It's about a becoming. It's about yourself. But we're going to get into that as we go through chapter number 2. A goal here is, he says, setting a goal is when you're looking at the end. Like, what do I want to achieve? So the end game of achievement is when you set a goal. But a system or a habit is about the process of playing the game. So if you are playing a game of basketball, the goal is to win the game, obviously, to come out on top. But the habits are the little things that you do inside of the game. It's the shots that you take. It's the moving the ball around the court. It's the little things. Those are the habits. That's the process of playing the game. You don't rise to the level of your goal, you fall to the level of your system. So just because you set the goal, just because I decided that I want to work out every day, let's say 3 days a week. I set a goal of working out for 3 days a week this year. And that's my goal. But just because that's my goal doesn't help me to achieve it unless I put a system in place, unless I build habits. So if I build the habit of getting up every morning, putting on my workout clothes and going out into my personal gym and working out, that's my system. You fall to the level of your system. You don't rise to the level of your goal. He brings out a couple of problems with goals, and that is that winners and losers have the same goal. You've seen the people that set the habit or set the goal of working out 3 days a week for the whole year, and by the middle of January, they haven't touched their gym membership. They have the same goal as the guy who's consistent with it and follows through all year. Winners and losers have the same goals. The second problem he brings out is that achieving a goal is only a momentary change. Remember what we talked about with the ice cube? The goal was to get it to melt. It only changed when it went from 32 to 33 degrees. That's a momentary change, and then it's done. But if you build that habit, doing the actions that it takes to achieve the goal, you will maintain that continual success rather than, okay, now I've achieved it. Now what? The end. Don't chase outcomes. Build systems that are repeatable and will automatically lead you to the outcome you desire. They'll keep you going from that 32 to 33 degrees. They'll keep you heating up and doing the things you know you need to do. You need to solve the problems at the systems level. So rather than, you come across, since we're talking about working out, rather than saying, well, I'm getting kind of fat right now, so I'm going to go work out. You're solving that problem at the goal level. Saying I need to go work out, that's setting the goal. But if you can become the person who works out, if you set that habit of going to the gym and working out every day, that will solve the problem at the systems level. If you fix the inputs, the working out, the habits, the outcome, or the losing weight will take care of itself. And the third problem he brings up with setting goals is that goals can restrict your happiness, because so often we're like, I'll be happy when I've achieved this goal. This will make me happy when I lose the weight, when I make the money, whatever that thing is. We base our happiness on those outcomes. And that is not true happiness. Sure, momentary happiness, but it's not lasting. Habits, he says, are the atoms or the building blocks of remarkable results. And then moving on to chapter number 2, habits shape your identity. Okay? When, like I mentioned earlier, if you say, I want to work out, that's not your identity. But if you say, I work out, I am someone who works out, I am a fit person, I am somebody who does this thing, that is your identity. If you continually work out, if you continually do the thing, I am a handyman, I am a podcaster, I am a coach, because I do the things that make me that. I don't want to do those things. I mean, I do want to do them, but it's not that, I want to build decks and I wish I could build decks. No, I build decks. I repair houses. I podcast every single week. I am a podcaster. And as a podcaster, I record podcasts. That's what I do. And so that shapes my identity because I build those habits. There's 3 levels of habit change. You've got the outcome level, which is what goals deal with this layer, with that level of outcomes. Then you have the process level, which is the habits and systems you build to help you achieve the goal. And then you have the identity level, which is what we're talking about here. That's your beliefs, your worldview, and your self-image. How you view yourself. Are you someone who wants to homestead, or are you a homesteader? And then how does that shape the things that you do? The direction of change is a problem for most people. And let me explain that. Most people focus on what they want to achieve. Okay? And it's so easy to do, but it's surface level. I can write down all my goals for the year. That's what I want to achieve. But until I factor in there who I want to become, what kind of person I want to be, and how that shapes the goals that I want, that I set for myself, then I can have true change. Then I can have true success. Then I can truly achieve the things that I want to achieve in life. When I first set who I want to become, how I want to show up in the world, and set my goals out of that. That is the identity part of setting your habits and goals. Your beliefs and your assumptions shape the whole system of your life. They shape the system of habits. They shape your goals that you create, that you set for yourself, that you pursue. Any behavior that's incongruent with yourself won't last. That's why goals that are set outside of your identity don't last. That's why people start going to the gym on January 1st, and by January the 15th, they are done and they never set foot back in the gym again. Their membership is collecting dust on the shelf. It's because they haven't changed who they are. And so that behavior is incongruent with their self-identity. It can't last. Your actions come from your habits, which come from your identity, which come from your beliefs. Okay, let me say that one more time. Your actions come from habits, which come from your identity, which comes from your belief. So what do you believe about who you are? What do you believe about yourself? What do you believe about what you do? And how does that shape your identity? So if you believe that you are a handyman, that's your identity. I am a handyman. If you believe that you are a healthy person, then that becomes your identity. I am someone who eats healthy. I am someone who works out. I am someone who does not eat junk food. Okay, that's your identity, and your habits and your actions come out of that. If you can change who you are first, remember, if we go back to the direction of change, focus on who you want to become rather than what you want. If we can change who we are first, who we identify as, and I'm not talking about the modern politically correct culture where you can identify as anything you want, including a cat or some fictional whatever. I'm not talking about that. Changing how you view yourself, changing how you see that God created you. God made each and every one of us unique. And if we can see ourselves in that light, if we can see ourselves as who God made us to be and embrace everything that He has given us, that will set the foundation for your goals and your habits and the systems. So instead of saying, I want whatever, like I want to be a fit person, say, I am a person who is becoming healthy. What would a healthy person do, and how can I emulate that in this instance? Not drinking the Coke, not eating the ice cream, not eating the Doritos, not eating the chocolate cake, not skipping a workout. You know, those are things that unhealthy people do. A healthy person turns down the junk food, eats good food, works out. Becoming the best version of yourself requires you to continuously edit your beliefs and upgrade and expand your identity. I'm going to end on that because I couldn't say that any better than what he said it here. Becoming the best version of yourself requires you to continuously edit your beliefs and upgrade and expand your identity. I hope that as you set your goals for 2023, you've taken into account the person that you want to become. You've taken into account how you want to show up in the world. You've taken into account your identity. And you've set goals based on that. And you set your habits based on who you want to become. Do good work.